Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to days 4 versus 4, taking place on the Neroxis map generator. It's a high-ish level rated game, this one. Most of the players coming in at well over 1600 rated, but the Neroxis map gen has given them a crazy one. It's a 20 by 20 map, so I look forward to showing this one. I think it doesn't matter how good of a player you are, if you get a crazy map, it's going to result for a crazy game. And so without any further ado, let's welcome our players on in and see what is going to be going on today. There we go. Yeah, that message is not supposed to stick at the top. You know, we're teleporting into the bilateral dimension, whatever the heck that means. And then it's supposed to disappear. All right, the music is from Total Annihilation. Thanks to the mod. Seem to be getting away with it. I've turned it up a little bit. It seems to be just a tad quiet in previous videos. We'll see if this one is any better today. And so let's welcome our players as we unpause the game. We'll see, talk about a crazy map, right? Version 1.8.8 of the Neroxis map gen. Looks like somebody's let the creativity out of the bag, or at least the mass points out of the bag, and gone a bit mad. We'll start over on the south side then, the Coolies as Team 2. Starting over here in Electric Blue then, MSG in Seraphim 1617 rated, going first land. Over around the clockwise position, and arguably the front for the southern team, is Walker in Aeon, also going first land. Decides to build a mass point, a second mass point. Is he going to double back for the third? No, he's going to think about what to do next. Perhaps not the best start ever. Pausing. Walker, by the way, the 1232 rated, by far the lowest rated player in the game, so perhaps we can let him off a bit for that slow start. Continuing around clockwise for Team 2, it's Rani 1998 rated Siren. So if he wins this, he's going to be very close to, if not getting his coveted 2000 rated. Of course, this guy well above average to offset this guy who's well below average. And then last but not least, for Team 2, it's Dan, not Dan, 1674 rated Seraphim, going first land and no doubt going to be responsible for air. Coming over to the fiery team then, or Team 1, and we'll start in a similar kind of position. It's Zweier the 1579 rated Seraphim player, going first land. Moving around into a clockwise rotation, it's Exited in the rear with the gear, 1646 rated, our first UEF of the day in this weird kind of orange. I mean, I'd like to say it's orange, but it's a sort of beigey kind of an orange. Coming around the clockwise, which is to his south, we've got Furio, Furio in 1684, another UEF, this time yellow, going first land, second air, and then last but not least in the front position for Team 1 and indeed the entire game, it's Retardon 1588 rated, also going UEF. So very heavy on the UEF for the northern team. The southern team have none. Clearly that means the Fireys are going to win this one, 1588 rated. We'll have to see if that pans out or not. Zooming out then, we can see about 1 million mass points. A quick look, if we take a look at Reclaim, nothing looking too drastic. If we zoom in, we can see most of those are just amalgamated clumps of trees that have been combined together in the zoom there to give clearer totals. Very minor exception, perhaps there, as what looks like a lump of mass. A couple of them here, 150 actually looks like one lump, but there's two lumps side by side. So not really worth the investment on rushing anything like a transport ship out just to reclaim those mass lumps. But what is worth rushing out for, I think, is just the sheer quantity of mass points. Transport ship there We've got bombers coming in from the southern team. Irani showing Furia what's what in the air. Furia moves an interceptor to, well, intercept. And was able to at least keep this engineer alive. It's now a dropship coming in from Dan, not Dan, but I'm not sure. It looks like he's just there to nab some of the mass and the reclaim. Yeah, I'm not sure that there's much else to be gained there from single engines. It looks like purely was a reclaim jobby. And again, not that it's entirely worthless. Does look like... Okay, so there are a few rocks in between at just 10 mass, but... To me, it still feels like there's far more mass points than not. And it would seem here that the spread of the mass points are going to favour, in this case, MSG for the coolies, and over here, Swayazak for the fireys. You could argue Retardon and Wooka also have a good go at it, but Wooka, being the lower rated player, is perhaps not the guy that you'd like on the side with all the mass. A stronger rated player over here would seem to have access to about the least amount of mass points, which, again, I don't think the fireys are going to be too disappointed about that. Maybe the coolies will be. We do have a few little cliff faces here. It's going to prevent some units. We've got an entrance here, here, and here. But other than that, all of this here is wide open. And even around here, you can send units around the back. So if you wanted to build walls, you'd have to do so there. But so far, I have to say, Wooka not doing bad. And again, not like he's a beginner, alright? 1232. I mean, this guy knows what he's doing. He's above average. It's just as far as this game goes, he's the lowest rated. Looks like Irani is determined to take what would at first glance seem like more than his fair share of mass points, but that's because Wooka needs to be sending and occupying some of these mass points over here. Kind of like what you see going on here between Swayazak and Exited. A better distribution between these two players and how they're sharing the mass. It feels like Wooka is concentrating too heavily down the mid. Retardon's health about 50%, and he's starting to run out of units, whereas Wooka has got the units. And Irani's ACU there as well. Could this be... Well, they need to pursue if they want to go after him, and it seems like they've elected not to. MSG is already Tech 2 on the commander, the Seraphim over here, so that's going to allow him to put down point defense if he wishes. Exited with a few minor run-bys over here. Let's have a little look on intel. Well, they're not going to know. At least not immediately. Okay, they are now going to start and see at the coolies. Yeah, so perhaps another radar or Tech 2. MSG's going to have his work cut out for him, though. Feels like a 2 versus 1, but back to the middle. Wooka doing a fantastic job versus Retardon here, considering he's like giving up over 300 rating points, and he's certainly on less of the eco. Big time. Minor run by here from Swayazak, and again just picking off the eco on a player that can least afford it. I'm really feeling for Wookie. It just feels like he's operating out of it on a map that's got 1 million mass points. It just feels like this guy's got next to none. We'll take a look on the income real quick. Wookie on 35, yeah, so that's reflected. He's the lowest income in the game. Perhaps Furia, at least for now, is equal. This is cheeky here from Irani and Naval Yard. Not going to be a problem at Tech 1, but at Tech 2, I don't know, having a SAM site that reaches in over here, walking destroyers, starts and becomes useful at that point. Back over to the north then, exited, getting T2 on his ACU. Wooker starting the gun upgrade with the speed. We've got Tech 2 point defense from Swire going down there. And MSG, well, it looks like he's walling himself in, and he's got to. He's got to be real careful he doesn't get cut off, though. Yeah, he's got a decent fire base here. And exited just real cheeky with the engineers here. We'll see who gets who first. Well, looks like MSG was only there to reclaim the mass. I really like this run by we've seen from Swires at home. He's continuing to go after the guy that can least afford it. And to make bad to worse, MSG then moves in with his engineers and says, all right, well, I'll have it then. Oh, dear. Wooker, I feel for you, pal. If you ever get to watch this video, I think you did really well. And I don't believe it. Apologies for missing, but the highest rated player on the Coolies gets picked off there. And Irani was going for Tech 3. Nice pickup. Was it these bombers? I don't know, but so far with 7 kills. Zooming in. Wooker in a spot of bother, but he's got a nice Tech 1 PD line to withdraw to. And Retardon, though, has the gun, so he's going to be able to overcharge some of these point defenses. Wooker, though, with the sniper comm. Yeah, and this was start the run bys here from the Fireys. Although MSG has tried to plug the gap with some Tech 1 point defense, that'll work up to a point. In fact, it'll work up more than to a point because everything coming through looks like has been tanks only. Coming down south side, and yeah, Fury are trying to be creative down here, but looks like Dan Not Down was quick to take up the slack here. And yet more run-bys from the Fireys. It feels like every run-by has come from the Fireys so far. I've not seen any units belonging to the Coolies over on the flip side of the map at all. Oh, and a ghetto, look at this, a Tech 2 ghetto gunship having its way with Wooker, who looks like he's going to go down. He is trying to build more anti-air. It's going to be too little too late. Furia, no doubt, using a similar tactic versus Irani. Very well played there. 2 players from the Coolies going down on the 12th minute. 4 versus 2. And look at this. Not satisfied with his pillagers so far. Furia is looking to capitalize on the situation. And Dan is able to shoot that out. Just wondering if Dan has got 3 ASF and some interceptors now. Where were they when his ally needed help? Perhaps his ally was slow to ask for help. I'm not sure. And so now MSG's got to be quick on picking up the slack. He inherits a base that's been overrun. And he needs units here and now. He does have a Tech 2 land HQ, but he's building engineers out of it. That's perhaps, I don't know, man, when your base is being overrun, perhaps build something else. And I love here what Swire's done. He's just distributed some of his units here and there, trying to maximize the amount of APM that his opponents are going to need to fulfill or to fix the situation. I mean, just look at this. Arty raining down. Just lovely positioning. And MSG now he's set some orders here for his commander and he's dealing with it, but he's really going to be saturated with this continuous run by exited. Just fantastic play exploiting the confusion that's been left on the opposing team after inheriting two bases now. So 2 players controlling 2 bases. Dan knocked down for the first time what feels like the Coolies trying to get out of their little corner. Is it enough? Looks like he's... Actually, yeah, I was going to say, it looks like he was forced to come back for a bit. Maybe only for a second or two, but I'm sure if he wants now, he can push this. Looks like the second base that MSG inherited is all but gone. Did manage to get a couple of Ilshivas over there. And now Dan knocked down with his ACU coming over as well, which is kind of crucial, but again, it just feels like it's a little late. The base was lost. Served its function, and Furia, just incredible play for 1684. Now bringing in Tech 2 fighter bombers, and looks like they're all going to go down, but a couple do get their load off, or at least partial. Just barely inflicting any damage there. Takes about 5 to 10% at most off that ion reactor. And gunships, I don't believe this guy is just all over. It just seems to be everywhere, all over. Retardon pushing through, and so Dan Not Dan and MSG have got to be thinking of something quick. There was the nice counter attack there from Dan Not Dan with that contingent of bots. Does manage to take out Furia, which is or was huge. There's a few bots left. We see now Exited inherits what was Furia's. There were some Tech 2 gunships in the area that could have been used to defend. You saw that they were brought in, but just a little too late. To me, feels like Furia was trying to build up those gunships for another snipe attempt somewhere. You could argue potentially got a little greedy, but look at this. A spider bot from Dan Not Dan is like 90% done, and Retardon is way out of position. Is he going to try and overcharge the engineers? Well, if he needed to, the time for that is now gone. Monkey Lord comes online, and with that, Retardon is going to bow out. 16 minutes 26 seconds, and that has got to feel good for the Coolies. 2 versus 2, 16 and a half minutes in. Looks like MSG for the first time sending units through this gap in the direction that favours the Coolies. That can't come soon enough. His fire base, it looks like he's just been working purely defensive over here. He's got 2 shields, attack missile defense, point defense, and now he's starting work on some static artillery. Is starting to punch through some of these mobile missile launchers. Now an ACU from Sviazak coming in. Oh, look at these bombers. Oh, his ACU just evaporating in health. Sviazak goes down, minute 17. I don't believe it. What was a 4 versus 2, just 3 minutes later becomes a 2 versus 1. Brilliant comeback from the Southern team. That leaves Exited all by his lonesome, representing the Fireys versus the same 2 Coolies that have been playing for about half the game, it feels like. And big problem for Exited. There's a Monkey Lord coming through. At this point, you gotta be, what's Exited's plan? Well, first off, he's got to start and get all of the bases he's just inherited online doing something, whether it's upgrading stuff, building stuff, factories pumping out units, experimentals, static defenses, whatever. He's got to do that, and at the same time continue engaging with stuff that's happening on the front line. That's going to be very difficult for any player to do. But if there's anybody that can on the Fireys, it's going to be Exited. He was the second highest rated, only just. Furia was the higher rated by a few points, but very little between them. Ping's going down, and so here you can see Furia from beyond the grave pointing out the Monkey Lord in chat. Of course, dead teammates don't have access to the global view. They can still only see what the team sees, so it's not like he can cheat. Once upon a time, I used to get global view, and then there was this bug, and I'm not sure if it still exists, I hope not, where if you were playing on dual screen, when you died, your second screen got global view while and froze, but your first screen still had team view. So on the secondary frozen global view, you could then quote unquote cheat. Now I assume that's been fixed because it was so long ago. Looks like Exit is chucking everything, including the bathroom, and I was going to say the bathroom sink, the kitchen sink at this Monkey Lord. He's got interceptors, transport ships, fighter bombers, and the couple of broadswords, as well as Tech 2 gunships. And Monkey Lord, oh, it's going to be very close. Escapes into the drink with 5,000 hit points left. Well, the best thing for that Monkey Lord is to bring it back and try and reclaim it, or at least use it defensively. But exited now with a strong ball of air, and I'm not sure that the other team's got he's got 42 ASF versus 21 from Dan, not Dan. So Dan, if at all possible, is going to want to sit behind his air defenses. I mean, we do got a bouncer there, but he's going to want more than one to do battle underneath. Exited chucking engineers and spammer over here. This shouldn't be allowed at this stage. MSG should have 2 or 3 Tech 3 units here to deny this trickle of engineers and spam from Exited, who is now looking increasingly strong in the air game. And at this point, the Coolies have got to realize this guy is going heavy on air. Like, to me, feels like air is their biggest threat right now, and they've got to realize that as a team. It's like, yeah, he's carried on sending spam through on the land, few siege Tech 3 bots, but air is where it's at. And so it might be tempting to carry on plugging gaps here and there for the land. It to me feels like Exited is deliberately using land as a distraction to force these Coolies to, you know, keep working on land when really it's air where it's at. Exited now starting on a fatty over here. He's continuing to work on economy, and for the first time, it's not entirely a ceasefire, but somewhat stabilized. Look at this, Exited comfortably on, I'm going to say, 2/3 of the map. If MSG gets knocked out of his position here, that's gonna reduce it to about 25% of the map. Dan not Dan going for the region. So let's have a look at economies then. 650 for Team 1, that's the Fireys, versus 402 for the Coolies. And so about 3-2 advantage there for Exited, and of course he's got that all to himself. MSG on about 217, Dan not Dan on 190. Yeah, so at this point, economy-wise and territory-wise, everything favours the single player. The only thing that doesn't is going to be the APM, or the actions per minute, and it comes down to, can the two players who you would arguably say on average you're going to have twice the APM versus the single player, make up for that difference on the lack of economy. It looks like for now they're holding on the land just about. Exited now Tech 3 on his ACU. I'm guessing at this stage you'll be using it defensively. Oh, what's this? MSG. Come on, you knew that air was the problem. He's got flax. I think he was a little lucky there that exited run away there. I think you can see how low these shields were. Just another second or two, the shields would have gone. Maybe that was a deliberate plan there from exited to leave MSG's ACU alive so that Dan didn't basically get, I wouldn't say double the eco, but I guess that is what I'm meaning. And looks like now exited is going all out to try and pick off MSG. Maybe he thought it was a mistake. MSG is trying to run away. I'm not sure that's the right decision. I'd like to have seen him stayed within his shielded base here. This feels like a mistake. I don't get why he's running away there. Oh, this is not looking good. Exited moves in with a shitload of air. Does park some of it in a terrible position. Dan Not Dan is into the engage, but looks like this base here belonging to MSG now completely overrun. He does bring some units up, but it's just too little. Alright, I give it to you, MSG. You are right to run away with your commander. I would have liked to have seen you stay in your base there. Swiazak points out Monkey Lord to exited. That feels like needs to be used. The thing is that I hate to see this. Air is the problem, so why are you sending in a monkey without any ground to air support? You know, for about 5 minutes now, at least, air's the problem. Have the coolies got something that they're going to pull out of the bag? MSG gets for the gun. This is MSG's just a torpedo snipe away. Has exited got a read on him? Well, no, is the answer. I'm sure he knows he's over there. He sends air in. He's got scouts. Well, if you don't know where he was before, he's gonna know now. And there are the torpedo bombers belonging to exited. So it looks like exited has decided enough of this APM imbalance. And here we go. The bouncers from Dan Not Dan. He's heard my prayers, my disgust through the passages of time. He's dug a quantum tunnel through to my conscious observer effect and said, have your bouncer, and now I'll send it in. And so MSG here trying to get nano repair. It just feels like he's pissing into the wind a little bit at this point. Minute 27 then. MSG about to go down in the drink. Oh, come on, Dan Not Dan. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? There he goes. Maybe he was waiting for his teammate to die for some reason. He's got to keep these bouncers alive. And so with that, and the two teammates are now equal, one player apiece. 788 versus 608, favouring exited. So still about a 3-4. Fatty that we saw under construction earlier on is online and brings some rolling artillery to bear. Air engage here. Dan Not Dan this time is in the right place. And then runs away with his air. I guess he couldn't win that. Monkeys go down. And these bouncers are going to be next. Looks like they are gonna kill some of the air belonging to Exited as they exit the area. I don't know how I come up with them. Over on the north side, decent number of units here from Dan Not, but again, where's your ground to air? There's no one flat unit here. You know what the problem is. Why? This is not. Oh, I beg your pardon. He's got one lightning tank in the mix. One. That's not going to cut it. And I think Exited thinks, yeah, I know, mate, I know. Oh, I love to see this. A decent player actually using the air repair pads in the way that you intended. You're up on your air. Why chuck it away? Just win your fight, bring your air back and patrol it right over your air pads. This is brilliant, brilliant play. And it doesn't just refuel your planes, it repairs them. And it does so much quicker than it takes to build a new plane. And so this, I don't know why everybody doesn't just do this. It just seems like such an obvious thing to do. Like, even if you forget about the fuel, you know, the Tech 3 Air, they last a long time on fuel. The fatty from Exited with 6 going on 7 kills roams in a shitload of bots to defend it as well. And despite his air advantage, Exited's putting a lot of air in there as well, air defenses. And so this time, the APM advantage is gone. It's a one-on-one. Exited is now 2-1 on mass. He's massively increased his production since the last time we looked. Chicken and Monkey Lord plus a few bots now from Dan. Is it enough? Because it's got to be. Nice shot there from the chicken. Monkey Lord getting some nice shots from range. This is very nice work from Dan Not Dan here. I like it. I like what Exited's doing, covering his fatty's retreat with these units. Chicken getting some real nice shots in there. Wow, I don't believe it. Excellent play from Dan Not Dan. Come on, keep your other stuff moving. Keep it together. And here come Exited's just not even bothered. He's just like all air patrol here. It's like he's not differentiating between ASF, broadswords, gunships. Now just bring the lot. Dan Not Dan does manage to snag himself the fatty. Chicken bot goes to, oh no, bring this away. Bring the bots away. Don't leave it in the, oh dear, oh dear. And Exited just continuing to go from strength to strength with this air. And it just feels like Dan Not Dan has run out of... Oh! We've got a shitload of bouncers in the rear. I forgot I was supposed to send those up with the other units. And the sad thing is, had he have done... I'm not saying this was an automatic win for Dan, but it was certainly... would have prevented this complete ownage that we've just seen there from Exited. Go Mazer him, says MSG. Dan Not Dan starts the gun speed and range. Yeah, but now Mazer, of course, the Seraphim don't have a Mazer, you know, the microwave laser. But saw it on one of the other casts, the insane damage that the Seraphim commander can put out once it's got this gun splash upgrade together with the teleporter. It's not as good as a microwave laser, but it's not far off.
Launch detected.
And I'm just thinking Exited might be lulled into a false sense of security because his opponent isn't Cybram. Do have a nuke out from Dan Not Dan, and he needs to think of something. Where is this nuke going? Is he using it defensively? Is he Ekka's like? Balls to the wall aggression. Oh, this is close. exited. Oh my goodness. Oh, that. Oh my goodness. Dan, not Dan. That was the lead of the century. Fantastic play. To me, you'd lost this game. I mean, look at this. You were down on less than 25% of the map at this point. Eco it was all lost. You'd lost air, you'd lost ground. What did you have left? A nuclear missile. You had to send it across a 20 by 20 map. And you got him. Fantastic play. I hope you enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, wherever in the world you may be, that's it from me. And have a good one. Take care. And until next time, bye-bye.